Okay, let's look at these two types of problems. You'll notice that we're given the title blocks when we're in Learn and Review, but when we come to the test, we're just given the question, and so we have to know the difference. So how can we tell the difference between word problems involving permutations and word problems involving combinations? Well, when we're talking about a permutation, we're talking about how things are ordered. So like first place, second place, third place in a race, okay? Or president, vice president, secretary in a club. So the order matters, okay? What about if we were talking about floats in a parade? So the first float has to come first. The second float has to come second. The order matters. So if we're taking things and we're putting them in order somehow, then that's called a permutation. And we use the permutation formula, which the permutation formula is on your formula sheet. Remember that the N right here stands for, you know, how many you have to choose from. And the R stands for how many you're going to pick, okay, or how many you pick. So we take n factorial over n minus r factorial. That's the formula for a permutation. So then how do I know if it's a combination? Well, I have to read the word problem and I have to ask myself, okay, so does it matter how I pick these? You know, does it matter how these get picked? Well, it says Brian has 8 CDs. He's going to give them away. He lets his best friend choose 2. And then how many of 2 CDs are possible? So he's letting his best friend just pick 2 CDs. He's not saying pick your favorite, pick your second favorite. He's just saying pick 2. Okay? So since there's no need for order, no need for any type of order, then it's a combination. So things like committees, if I have a committee of students, or if I have a group, or if I have a team, as long as I'm not saying, you know, this person's first, this person's second, this person's third, then these are all combinations. And so my combination formula is I take how many I have to pick from, how many am I picking, and then I get n factorial over n minus r factorial, but then I have to divide right here by another r factorial, so that's an extra little piece. So let's look at these two. Now Alex does it a little different in their explanation, okay, but I think it's easier to understand what you're looking at and then use the formula. It's a little better for some of you guys. So this one says a club has 3 members, so the total is 3, so that's how many I'm going to get to pick from. From the members, we're going to get a president and a vice president, so that's going to be the 2, okay, the 2 places, like first place, second place. So how many different ways can we pick this? So this one is a permutation. I have 3 to pick from, but I'm only picking 2. It's a permutation because I have president, which is like first place, and I have vice president, which is like second place. So I would take 3 factorial over 3 minus 2 factorial, which is 3 factorial over 1 factorial, and that's 3 times 2 times 1 over 1, which is 6. So there are 6 different ways to get your president and vice president when you have 3 members. Okay, let's look at our down here. Remember, they're not going to give us the title. We're going to have to know that this is a combination. So I know this one's a combination because he's got 8 CDs and he's going to let his friend choose 2. Okay, choose 2. So this one's a combination. I have 8 to pick from. Am I choosing 2? So I get 8 factorial over 8 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. So that is 8 factorial over 6 factorial, 2 factorial. And depending on how you like to do these, I kind of take a shortcut. because I know that 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? So I can say 8 times 7 times 6 factorial, and that takes care of everybody down there past 6, right? And then in the denominator, I have another 6 factorial, and then I have that 2 factorial. And I like to do that because now I can see that those are going to all divide out, and I don't have to write them. So I'll end up with 8 times 7 in the numerator and 2 times 1 in the denominator, which is 56 divided by 2. And if you take half of 56, you'll get 28. So there are 28 different combinations to pick to choose 2 CDs out of 8 CDs in a bucket.